TV production in association with Molestar Communications.
We lift a cup and toast the great 80s, dominated by a man with a number in the 90s. Wayne Gretzky gave us more thrills and records than even Michael Jackson. The Winnipeg Jets left their glory days in the WHA and arrived on the NHL's doorstep. But the team would have as many ups and downs in the 80s as the stock market. The Jets went through more coaches than the decade had years. In Hollywood, a Top Gun cruised to stardom. And in Winnipeg, another pilot was trying to fly through the clouds. The 80s brought a new attitude to the Soviet Union, and the late decade brought a different glasnost to a team in need of a boost. The future lies in the hands of this man. Tonight, we ring in the new year with our first 90s broadcast from the Winnipeg Arena. The Washington Capitals and Jets live on CKY. The Jets on CKY, brought to you by Molson Canadian. What beer's all about. It has been a happy new year in Winnipeg. The Jets have won 5 of 7, including a 4-3 win Monday night in New Jersey. They're still 4th in the Smythe, but a win tonight could move them into 3rd place. The Washington Capitals, meanwhile, have had a New Year's revolution. 5 straight losses. The latest Monday in Toronto, Gary Leeman a hat-trick in an 8-6 Leafs win. Washington first a few weeks ago has dipped to 4th, but in the ultra-congested Patrick division, anything can happen. And my, how time flies when you're having fun. 8 years ago, a future Washington Capital was marching with the Saints of St. Boniface, then starring with the University of Manitoba. A case of Ridley's Believe It or Not. The Canadian College Player of the Year, Mike Ridley, stepped into the NHL very easily, first as a Ranger, then as a Washington Capital. And maybe it's the luck of the CKY Sports Star Award. Who knows? And joining us now is Mike Ridley. Mike, that was a few years ago. Some of us have changed since then, particularly yourself. And boy, we were talking last night, and it's just amazing how far you've come.
Well, yeah, I guess you know, it's something that I can look back on now, and I haven't seen film like that for quite a while now, and you know, it kind of brings back some memories. I think you know, it's something that I'm very pleased that happened. You know, I'm making my living now playing hockey, and never thought that would ever happen. And you know, I'm just happy to be where I am, and hope to continue to work hard and stay here.
Quite an honor last night bestowed upon you as the first inductee, along with Vaughn Carpen, at the University of Manitoba Sports Hockey Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, it's quite an honor. Like Vaughn was saying last night, I don't know if we deserve it or not. It's great to you know, have people remember you like that, and it's something that, you know, when my career is finished, I can always look back, and you know, I'm sure I'll be seeing some Bison games later on, and it's a great honor, and I'm glad to have.
Imagine had your team been playing a little better these days.
Yeah, we're in a tough division there, and you know, we've got some defensemen out, Rod Langway, Scott Stevens, Neil Sheehy, and you know, Rod and Scott themselves take a big chunk of the ice time for our defense, and so, you know, but we can't use excuses. Every team's had that. Philadelphia and the Rangers have gone through it, so we've got to try to get through this in a little better shape than we've started out on it. They're still going to be out for 4 weeks, so, you know, you can only use that excuse so long, and we've got to stay, you know, within striking distance, and so what we have to do is start winning some games.
Well, good luck tonight, Mike, and welcome home.
Thanks.
Now, with more of tonight's hockey game, let's go upstairs to our play-by-play team, Curt Keilback, and former Washington Capitals coach Gary Green.
Well, the Winnipeg Jets have been coming closer to reaching the coach's dream of a consistent brand of hockey. The Washington Capitals have been quite the contrary. They concluded the 80s with 4 straight wins. They've started the 90s with 5 straight losses. Gary Green, why is that?
Well, first of all, here's a team that has always been in the race for the Jennings because they're a good, sound defensive hockey club. But right now they have got Rod Langway out of the lineup, Scott Stevens, and Neil Sheehy. They're depleted on defense. But their goaltender, Don Beaupre, hasn't been coming to the rescue. He allowed 8 goals the other night against Toronto, 7 against Los Angeles. I mean, this team has, and also 5 against Boston. they don't have the goaltending that is ever going to win them a Stanley Cup. They've got to come up with a key goaltender sometime in the draft in the future, or else a trade.
Well, with goaltending like that, they got to score like Toronto or Los Angeles, don't they?
Well, and then they allow 8 to lose the hockey game. They're having a tough time.
So in a moment, it's the Washington Capitals and the Winnipeg Jets live on CKY. There was a crowd of less than 9,000 for these clubs to meet. It certainly better than that tonight, although the joint is definitely not filled. Paul Stewart is the referee tonight. He, in fact, played in the NHL at one time. 21 games and 74 penalty minutes. And working the lines are Brad Lazarowicz and Mike Civic. Don Beaupre making his 15th start in the last 16 games for Washington. And standing opposite him, the guy who's been so hot. 8 wins, 3 losses, 2 ties, a goal against average that is tremendous. And, of course, recently, the player of the week in the NHL, Bob Essenza. So Mike Ridley, the Winnipegger, stands opposite capital zone with it. His Holder sends it to Ridley. He puts it back into the Jet zone, and going to get it is McElwain to center ice. Now Holder puts it back into the Jet zone. Retreating to pick it up is Mantha. To Ellett. Ellett's pass, that's cut off by Ridley. Ridley trying to work it in front. Does get it to Cicerelli. Cicerelli looks back, gets it to Rose, a shot, the save, rebound at the side of the net, and Essenza covers it.
Well, it's probably going to be about 4 weeks before Brian Murray can get back Rod Langway and Scott Stevens, 3 at least. Now, Brian Murray had hoped that during the time that Stevens and Langway were out, this hockey club could play 500. This Patrick division is so tight that if they were to, well, they're only 2 points from the bottom, and yet they're only 4 places from the top. And Bob Murdoch knows what every game means right now, because the Winnipeg Jets, if they win tonight, can jump into 3rd spot with 1 game in hand on the LA Kings.
Here's Steve Leach with it along the boards for Washington. Looks out in front. Hunter is there, being checked by Carlisle. Leach finally dumps it behind. Hunter goes for it. Looks in front at Carnival. The puck comes in. Here's Leach. The save by Essenza. And again, he covers. So a quick start by the Washington Capitals.
Well, Leach got a couple of whacks at it out there, and the Capitals once again get off to a fast start, as they did Monday night against Toronto. But the man that foils Leach is Bob Essenza. Essenza's down, he makes the first save, then he goes back, he makes his second save, he's able to jump on his own rebound. This guy has got the 3rd best goals against average in the NHL.
Now Howardchuk, the captain of the Jets, works out to center, left side pass to Smale. Into the shot, it's grabbed by Beaupre, and he holds on. Actually, there was nobody to throw it to. Everybody was either in the corner or back at the blue line.
Well, Dale Howardchuk has had 6 points in his last 7 games, Curt, and I know that he's looking forward to a better new year than he did in the last. Watch Howardchuk as he threw that puck into Doug Smale. Now, Smale just goes high with it. Howardchuk gets taken out of the play by Kent Painter, who has recently been called up from Baltimore by the Washington Capitals.
Now the Jets send out Steen with Allenuk and Ashton. Standing opposite Steen in the faceoff circle is John Tucker, who was acquired by the Capitals from the Buffalo Sabres. Off the draw, it goes back to Hatcher. Hatcher watched there by Allenuk, gets it up to Pavonka. Pavonka is checked. Here's Olesen in deep. His pass goes rink wide, and it's grabbed by Hatcher. Hatcher to center. He stopped there by Steen. Tucker follows up. His pass picked off. Here's Olesen with room into the Capital zone. Dumped it in deep. Pavonka back. Puts it into the other corner. Ashton stopped it. Now Pavonka along the boards for Druce. Cronin moves in. Keeps it in momentarily. Now it's out at center ice, and Steen has to wait. Gets over the line. Dropped it. Here's Ashton. A shot. The save. Rebound. Fired wide by Allenuk. Now Ashton in for Steen. It goes behind, and Tucker. Checked by Allenuk to Steen. Looking in front at Ashton. Feeds it instead to Mantha. The shot. And it's taken away by the Capitals' Druce. Dumped into the Jet zone. And going back is Carlisle. Keep going. Carlisle has Boschman in front of him. Benton to the left. Dumps it into the Capital zone. Johansson goes back-footed in behind the net. Looks for room up the wing, gathers speed up the middle to center. Now dumps it into the jet zone. Along the boards, moving in is Curt. Tied up by Kumpel. Mantha gives to Boschman. His pass cut off by Johansson, and Boschman grabs it. Looks ahead to Fenton, dumps it into the Capital zone. Beaupre into the corner. Fenton is there. He's taken out by Johansson. Johansson behind the goal. Stopped there by Fenton. Around on the boards. Courtnall trying to work his way out. Mantha pinching in. Kicks it into Boschman. Into Fenton. Fenton watched there by Johansson. Now, Kumpel. There's going to be a penalty as Kumpel was upended by Doug Wickenheiser. So the Jets, who were 3 for 6 on the power play the last time Washington was here, will have the opportunity.
Wickenheiser in the penalty box for the Washington Capitals. 2 minutes for tripping was the call. Coming out of the corner, you can see Wickenheiser dumping Kumpel. And so the Jets go on the power play, where, Curt, they've had some problems coming off of that road trip.
They send out Steen, Ellenuk, and Howard-Chuck. Ellett is back with Olesen. Ellett has it now over to Olesen. Back to Ellett. Ellett's pass stopped, and Ridley looks into the middle for Miller. Miller back to Ridley. He gets to the Jet line. Ridley's shot, and Howard-Chuck is back. Gives it to Ellett. To Steen. Steen at center ice. Gets up across the Capitals line. His pass broken up by Hatcher and cleared away. 1.5 minutes left in the man advantage. Olesen to Steen. Over to Allen. Gets into the Capital zone. Dumps it in. Steen after it in the corner. Behind the net, here's Ellenuk. Ellenuk has to go to the other side. Back now to Allen. Allen to Olesen. Here's Steen. Steen into Howard-Chuck. Back to Steen. Back to the point, Allen. Back now to Steen. To Howard-Chuck. His pass for Ellenuk was cut off and cleared away by the Capitals' route. Now Allen looks ahead. Here's Howard-Chuck over the line. Lets it go over top of the net. 10 out of play.
Well, the Jets have just had some real problems on the power play. They're ranked 18th overall in the National Hockey League, but worse as of late, they have only scored 1 goal in their last 4 games. Both of them to killing penalties. The Jets rank number 1 overall in the NHL. And the Capitals, who are being tested right now, are 4th overall in the league.
They talk about the Jets' power play when they put out Howard-Chuck, Steen, and Ellett there to already stand in front of the net.
Well, when they've got Ellett, though, and Olesen back in the point, they can use Randy Carlyle back in the point. I thought their power play would be really strong. Bob Murdoch's a good power play coach. Things just haven't been clicking for the Jets on the power play.
Now Kozlowski kicks it into the Washington zone. Johansson lost it behind the net. Smale sends it around on the boards. Miller gets there, can't get it out. Here's Carlyle into the corner to Smale. In deep now for McElwain. Looks back at Carlyle. Feeds him the puck. Back to McElwain. Kozlowski moves to the front. The pass to Kozlowski. And he bobbled it. That's one of the reasons Greg Kozlowski is going to change his number to 13 come Friday. He thinks that number 28 is bringing him bad luck. Here's Smale and Johansson along the boards. Now Miller dumps it all the way down the ice. And going back forward is Carlyle. That's icing against the Capitals. This is your Molson Hockey Telecast. So 5 minutes gone in the opening period of a scoreless hockey game. Tucker and Boschman face off in the Capital zone. It goes to Rouse. He gives to Holder. Around on the boards, Tucker gets it to the blue line. Held in by Kumpel to Mantha. In behind to Fenton. It goes by him and Rouse. Can't get it out. Here's Fenton. Back over to Boschman. Boschman hit by Rouse. Rouse sends it rink wide for Pavelka. Kumpel approaches him. Takes the puck away. Now Kumpel trying to center. Fenton kicks it loose to Boschman. To Kumpel. Pavelka leaning on Kumpel. Fenton trying to work in front. And the Capitals start away. Druce trying to squeeze by Mantha, but there's no room. And with it now is Cronin to Fenton. He dumps it high, and going back to get it for Washington is Painter. To Hatcher. Gavin Hatcher Gets into the jet zone. Works into it. Slides it in front. That one off Mantha. Hatcher after it again. Ashton cut him off. To Cronin. Ahead now for Ellenuk to Steen. Steen with Ellenuk. Trying to split the defense. Puck goes free. And Dale Hunter turns it around. Working against Olesen. His pass broken up by Allen. Steen sends it up the right wing. Here's Ellenuk. Ellenuk pass back for Ashton. Ashton to Steen. Steen looks back to the point. Now the shot just wide. Beaupre wasn't anticipating that shot. Allen dumps it in. And Painter ahead now to Leach. Leach pokes it by Allen. Now it's picked up, taken over the line. Leach with it, trying to work in front. And Olesen. Rink wide to Steen. Gets into the Washington zone. Back now for Allen. Allen behind the net to Steen. He centers. And Johansson. Straight up for Washington. Gets the pass left side. Cicerelli cut off by Allen. They both went down. Now here's 2-on-1. The Capitals. Miller with Cicerelli. The pass. Innocence on the save. Miller a wraparound. And Smale starts back. He's got Howard-Chuck with him. Smale in flight. Gets to the line. And had his glove pulled out. Now Cicerelli gets up to the jet line. Looks to the right side. Kozlowski stopped by Holder. It's dumped back into the jet zone, and going to get it is Newman. Leaves it for Carlisle. Looks to Howard-Chuck. On the left side, Smale. He gives to Kozlowski. Back to Howard-Chuck wide. 3 quick passes, and then Howard-Chuck fired it wide. And center ice Courtnall gets into jet territory. He shot. That missed by a long way. And Howard-Chuck lost it to Courtnall. Over the line. Here's May moving in. He fires wide. Sykes. And it go by, and with it is Holder. Over to Rouse. 8-10 gone. Opening period. No score. But it's looking like it's going to be a wide open affair. Now Newman gets it on the right side. Is McElwain. He's shot wide. Sykes moves in. Got into the corner to McElwain. Rouse and Tucker join him. And play is called.
If anyone ever hits the net, this could be a dangerous game. Now the Caps right now are out shooting the Winnipeg Jets 3-2. But as we mentioned just before going to commercial, Curt, there's been a lot of shots that have been taken, but few have hit the net.
McElwain and Tucker face off in the Capital zone. McElwain pulls it back. Cronin shot. Kicked away by Beaupre. Now Tucker sends it off the glass and all the way down into the jet zone. Mantha chased there by Pavonka. Sends it ahead to McDermott. He gives to McElwain. He gets to the Capitals line. Looks back for a trailer. Finds McDermott. McDermott turns around. He's checked by Druce. Now it's handballed back in by Mantha, and play is called.
The Washington Capitals are the most penalized team in the National Hockey League, and Mo Mantha and the Winnipeg Jets knew that coming into tonight's lineup, and I don't doubt that there were some words to that effect prior to tonight's game. And also Bob Murdoch put Cronin back in the lineup tonight, so he was probably expecting a fairly rough affair.
This is the first of a 4-game homestand for the Winnipeg Jets. In fact, 5 out of 6 will be played in this building before they go another one of those Eastern treks. Washman and Hunter face off. Now the puck in the Capital zone. It cleared by Ellen all the way back to center. Leach. Stop there. Kumpel puts it out to center. Washman turns it around. Gets it up to the Capitals line, and Kleinendorf sends it back to the jet line. Olesen. Now Kleinendorf dumped it in by Terry Crisp. When it came time to select the... Here's Kumpel. Off the left side. Gets to center line, and Paul Fenton moved in too quickly.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. Dave Ellett was omitted from the All-Star lineup this year. And Paul Cavallini is the player that was chosen by Terry Crisp that is probably the most questionable. Even though Paul Cavallini is also having an excellent season for the St. Louis Blues, I don't think many people will necessarily agree that Dave Ellett hasn't played better.
Well, it wasn't mandatory or incumbent on Crisp to pick Cavallini either. There has to be one representative from every team, but Brett Hull is already there. The Jets All-Star. He puts it into the corner to Ellen. Out front, Ashton, and the save by Beaupre. finds a good opportunity, and Beaupre robs Ashton.
So where they saw Don Beaupre giving up a lot of goals right between the legs, the 5-hole. Ashton goes for it. Hey, tonight Beaupre's got those legs closed.
And I guess Rob was kind of... Steen against Wickenheiser to the left of Beaupre. Now Hatcher in behind his goal. Gets it to Curt now. He's cut off by Kumpel. Now Steen in behind the net. Here's Ashton out front. He scored! Who had a couple of goals the last time the Capitals were here.
Okay, you go get the puck in the corner, pass it out to me, and I'll put it in. That's exactly Allenuk to Ashton. Conversation-wise, Ashton gets the puck. He finds Allenuk right out in front of the net, and Allenuk wasted no time in putting that puck right behind Don Beaupre. Allenuk from Ashton. And
time of that goal, it's 1-0 Winnipeg. Thomas Steen had 4 assists the previous visit by the Capitals. That was one. Lost nail, knocked off his stick. Mantha in across the Capitals line. Wrapped it around on the board. Now Bruce forces Allen out. Howardchuk dumps it into the corner. And Kleinendorf has it deep for Washington. Puts it behind the goal. Now in deep is Kozlowski. Back to Kozlowski. His shot. He scored!
that sweater order.
Now maybe he'll keep that number 28.
The Jets have been containing the Capitals ever since Allenuk scored the goal. Kozlowski took the puck right off of Kelly Johansson, and as a result, puts the Jets up 2-0. Tucker, Johansson, all back there, but Kozlowski finds the puck and finds the opening.
So 2 goals in 47 seconds. It's 2-0 Jets. Dumped into the Jet zone. Essenza lead by McDermott. Lead pass Sykes. He's got McElwain with him. McElwain takes the pass, goes in deep. McElwain centers, and here's Sykes. He's shot, and the save by Beaupre. Oh, they run into by McDermott, but the Jet got the worst of it. Now McDermott stands up. The puck was there, and he fanned on it on the open side. McDermott looks up. Here's Sykes. In front, McElwain fanned on it. Well, the Capitals without Langway, Stevens, and Sheehy back there. And does it show? Here's Olesen. Flips it high. McDermott had it go over his head. Hatcher chased by McElwain. Retreats behind the goal. Comes up the right side. Now Ridley gets through Cronin. Gets it out to Miller. He's got Painter wide left, but he didn't know it. Here's Newman. Comes straight up. Newman trying to split the defense, and Hatcher cuts him off. Now Beaupre can't clear. Kumpel. His shot. That's blocked by Miller. Benton after it. Looks in front. Nobody there. Now gets it to Boschman. Back. Here's Newman shot. Beaupre grabs with Kumpel cruising in front, but the Jets have got it going. They lead 2-0.
Winnipeg Jets next home game is Friday, January 12th when the Detroit Red Wings are in town. The Jets are...
Well, you can see this hit coming up. McDermott and Holder. McDermott got the worst of it. Holder's a pretty big man out there, but McDermott shows up.
Hillen, a quick shot off the face-off. Beaupre knocked it away. Now up the middle, Johansson. He gets the pass into Wickenheiser. Left side, Courtnall. Rebound, Wickenheiser poked it wide. Courtnall dumps it behind the net, and Newman has it for Winnipeg. Left side pass, here's Hellenuk. Gets over the Capitals line. Looks out for Ashton. Ashton in deep. Out front, Wickenheiser. Dumped it to center, and Cronin puts it back into the Washington zone. Here's Johansson again. Left side pass. That goes by Wickenheiser. In deep to get it is Cronin. Lets it go by for Ashton. Ahead now to Steen. Now Cronin's got a fight going. Who's the capitalist? Is that Wickenheiser? It's not Wickenheiser.
It's Alan May, isn't it?
Well, he's down on the ice, whoever it is.
It's got to be Alan May, because he would no doubt be looking for Cronin, and vice versa. Alan May is the heavyweight in the National Hockey League, at least in numbers of fights. I think he's had 17 fights so far this year, but he just met up against Cronin the Barbarian, who ended up on top of him.
So it's 2-0 Jets. You're tuned to the Jets live on CKY.
The toughest player for each team. They collide in the corner. Cronin gives May a little bit of a shot initially, then gave him another one, and then another one. So Cronin wanted May more than May wanted Cronin, so give May some credit for hearing through the grapevine that Cronin is tough.
Well, there's no instigator there. They give them 5 each for fighting, although it did look like Cronin was the guy who got it started.
With the most fights in the NHL, there's very seldom that you're going to have, especially a referee like Paul Stewart, give anyone like Alan May an instigator. Against Cronin, that is. Paul Stewart might even sit back and enjoy the odd one of those, even though he couldn't say that publicly.
Well, doesn't he teach fighting at his refereeing school? Now that's Paul Stewart there. As we said, 74 penalty minutes he had in a 21-game NHL career. So he knows all about it.
And he only got on the ice once a game.
Uh-oh, Brian Murray is going to be penalized, I think, by Stewart. Either that or given a severe tongue lashing, because Stewart said, hold things up a minute here, pointed the finger at him, and I guess it was just a stern warning.
Stewart sent Tucker over to pass some things on to Brian Murray, but when Tucker skated over to Brian Murray, he just kind of circled. He didn't really want to say a thing to Brian Murray. Brian, of course, though, wanted to hear what Stewart had to say.
Now the puck is dumped back into the Capital zone. Rouse in the corner, in behind his goal. Now he's checked. Here's Fail trying to center, and Tucker takes it back, puts it along the boards. Yellett pinches in. Yellett has his pass caught up in the skate of Bruce, and Mantha is there, puts it rink wide, and there's going to be a penalty.
I think Ellett's picking up a tripping penalty for hauling down Druce.
That comes about at 13-18, so the Capitals, who are down by 2, get the man advantage.
Well, Ellett and Druce were jostling for the puck, and you could see that Ellett lifted Druce's right leg right up off of the ice, which forced Druce to lose his balance, and as a result, Ellett goes to the penalty box.
Now he's seated there alongside Shawn Cronin. Cronin didn't play the last couple of games for the Winnipeg Jets, and it wasn't totally because he didn't play well in Boston. It was also because he's got a bit of a shoulder problem.
The Caps right now in the power play, they rank 19th overall in the NHL. Not a good power play. They're up against the best penalty killing unit in the NHL, the Jets, #1.
Here's Olesen, dumps it all the way down the ice. Now Johansson, deep for Washington. Turns it around. Goes in behind his net. By the way, the scratches for the Jets tonight are Gord Donnelly and Peter Taglianetti. In the net, he dumps it all the way down the ice. A minute and a half left in the penalty to Dave Ellett. The Capitals have been stung 9 times by shorthanded goals, and the Jets have scored 8 shorthanded goals this year. Puck goes back into the Jet zone. Now Cicerelli lost his helmet. It's picked up by Olesen, and again he dumps it the distance. Back goes Hatcher. Hatcher up the right side, watched by Kumpel. Stopped at the line, and Carlisle clears it away. A minute left, and the penalty to Dave Ellett. Hatcher behind his goal. Now he comes out in front. Left side pass. It's taken at center ice. Rouse drives it into the Jet zone. After it, there's Ridley. Puts it rink wide. Rouse pinches in against Mantha. Mantha trying to glove it over to Sykes. It's kicked back to Courtnall. Here's Courtnall. In deep now for Rouse. Looks back to the point to Holder. He gets it in now to Ridley. Back to Holder. Dumped into the corner to Rouse. Rouse behind the net, Cicerelli. Back now for Rouse. Checked by Sykes. Rouse flips it behind the net. Newman puts it around. Holder moves in from the point against Mantha. Now Cicerelli to Ridley. Ridley's pass winds up on the stick of Holder. He's checked and Kumpel drives it away. And it will run out the penalty to Dave Ellett. 4:40 left. Opening period. 2-0 the Jets lead. Here's Jeff Courtnall. Dumps it into the Jet zone. Hunter and Carlisle go after it. And it's icing against the Washington Capitals. 4.5 minutes left in the first period.
It is a rough one in Madison Square Garden, and rough literally on this goal. Steve Thomas of the Blackhawks in front shovels it. It looks like it goes off the stick of Lindy Ruff, perhaps Adam Creighton. Nonetheless, Chicago leads the Rangers 2-1 in the second.
Off the draw on the Capital zone. It's flipped high in the air, and it goes out of play. How's your buddy Roger Nielsen making out these days?
He probably wishes he was back in the broadcast booth. I think they've won about 1 game out of their last 14 or 15. They're having a tough time. They've been faced with a lot of injuries, but you know, Rod, everything's still going to be done the same way one day it is the next. He's very consistent. New GM is taking a lot of heat from the New York media. They want him to make a lot of trades. Isn't that unusual?
Steen and Hunter face off. It goes in behind the net. Now Painter looks straight up the middle, comes up to center ice, dumped it into the Jet zone. Essenza out of the goal. Tried it for Olesen. Up the right side to Steen. He gives to Ashton. Ashton with Steen and Olesen. Dropped it to Steen. Steen spins around. A shot blocked by Leach. Now Steen back to the blue line. And it hopped over the stick of Olesen. Olesen goes up the right side. Gets into the Capital zone, and it's offside.
Well, fresh off of his Caribbean vacation, let's go down to the well-panned Rod Black.
They tried to sanction you this weekend for a referee clinic at the Jets Open practice, but you will not be available. Joey Gregorish and Peter Young will be special referees. The Jets Open practice is Saturday, January 13th. Doors open at 10 a.m. You can watch the Jets practice and watch, well, a Pee-wee team play the Jets and Bob Murdoch, and that goes Saturday, the Jets Open practice.
Should be a lot of fun.
Team from Tyndall Park. Here's Rouse. Puts it in behind the Capitals goal. Holder dumps it out to center ice. Now Carlisle drives it back into his Holder. Watched by Boschman. 3:33 left in the opening period. 2-0. The Jets lead it on goals by Pat Olenuck and Greg Kozlowski. Here's Wickenheiser. Dumps it into the Jet zone. Essenza leaves it behind the net for Carlisle. Straight up now to Boschman. Boschman puts it into the Capital zone. Gets it himself. The shot. Rebound in front. Here's Fenton. Fenton looks out in front. Ellett. They score. Paul McDermott.
Did the Jets have enough whacks at it? The Capitals' defense are porous at best. One shot Beaupre has to make the save on. Fenton puts it back to Ellett from close range. Ellett can't find the room. However, McDermott did. Meanwhile, you can see right in front of the net was a Kozlowski, I think, that was doing a pretty good job of making sure the Caps defenseman didn't get a chance to get over to McDermott.
But his first as a Winnipeg Jet. Here's Howardchuk, gives it to Smale. Gets to the Capitals line. Now Druce on the left side to Pavonka. 3-0 the Jets lead. Druce trying to center it. Smale and Pavonka covered up. Now Ellett gets it on the right side. Here's Kozlowski. Gives to Ellett. To Howardchuk into the Capital zone. Howardchuk looks in front. Here's Smale. And he was tied up. Ellett behind the net. Smale. Checked. With it deep is Tucker. Tucker around to the boards. Johansson stopped by Kozlowski. Here's Howardchuk. Kozlowski fired wide. Here's Ellett. Behind the net for Howardchuk. Picked up by Johansson. Sent up the boards, and back at center is Mantha. 2:10 left in the opening period. It's been all Jets as they lead it 3-0. They've outshot the Capitals 13-4. Now Cicerelli into the jet zone. Moves to the outside. Dumps it in. Miller wrapped up. Frees himself. Gets it to Cicerelli. Into real Capitals each time they touch the puck. And now McElwain. Ahead to Sykes. Along with Painter. It sends Cicerelli. Kumpel immediately steps into him. McElwain trying to dig the puck out. Miller does. And Carlisle cuts him off. It's dumped back in. Beaupre around for Painter. Painter puts it ahead. Here's Miller. The captain of the Capitals dumps it in. Back forward is Carlisle. Around to McElwain. Behind the net. 1:10 left in the opening period. Here's McElwain gathering speed. Gets to center ice. Dumped it in. And going back is Rouse. Puts it outside. Mantha dumps it back in. Into the last minute of the opening period. Rouse works his way to center. Feathers it in. In essence, covers up with Corvo hovering near.
Essence hasn't had an awful lot of work in the game so far tonight. Only 47 seconds remaining in this first period of play. The Jets have been skating well tonight. They've been forechecking the Capitals. And that's a pretty good game plan right now with Rod Langway, Scott Stevens, and Neil Sheehy. I talked to Scott Stevens today, in fact, and he gets the cast off tomorrow. And he should, if everything's all right, be able to get back into the lineup within about 3 weeks. However, there's a little bit of concern that, in fact, he may have to put the cast back on again if they x-ray it tomorrow and see that it's not fully healed.
You know, it seems like the Washington Capitals have counted on Rod Langway and Scott Stevens forever.
Wouldn't you? And they have. They've been there, it seems, a long time.
Now the puck in front of the Jet net. Newman blocked it. Newman looks ahead for Boschman. In at Dale Hunter. Dumps it back into the Jet zone. Newman looks to the right side. Here's Yellenuk. Rink wide. Steen out. Here's Ashton. Ashton moves to the outside. Dumped it in behind. Yellenuk lets it go to Steen. Back down to Mantha. Over for Newman, and Hunter got a piece of that. Newman has to go back for it. 15 seconds left in the period. 3-0 Jets. Newman over to Mantha. Ahead to Steen with Ashton. 7 seconds. Steen out for Newman. Goes right in front, and Curt now reached back to check him. So the buzzer sounds, with the Jets coming close to adding to their lead.
Now Ashton and Rouse are going at it. After, in the corner, Yellenuk and Hunter were having words. And now Yellenuk came back and took a little piece of Rouse. Hunter's in it, and now Ashton's upset. The linesmen are having a tough job getting these two teams to go to their respective benches with this period being over.
But they break up, no problem. And so the score after one period is the Winnipeg Jets 3 and the Washington Capitals 0. Face-off comes at the other end of the ice to the left of Essenza. Steen goes after it, and play is called. There's going to be a penalty to Shawn Cronin, and you don't very often see him get upset, but not at a referee, I mean, but he is now.
Was he upset at the referee, or was he upset at Dino Cicerelli? Well, maybe a little of both.
Well, he was protesting.
Cicerelli upsets a few people. And Cronin may have upset Cicerelli.
Holding the call, and for those on television, an opportunity to see what it was about.
Cronin upset Cicerelli in more ways than one. Cronin just hugged Cicerelli from behind and put him in a big bear hold, then threw him to the ice. Cicerelli got his helmet half knocked off of his head. Shawn Cronin goes to the penalty box for holding.
So the Capitals once again send out the power play unit. Ridley, Cicerelli, Miller, Hatcher, and Johansson. Jets, as has been their lot all season, have blown a lot of good scoring opportunities in this second period. But the situation isn't as desperate as is often the case due to the fact they cashed in on 3 of those in the first period and hold a 3-0 lead late in the second. Jets have McElwain and Smale along with Mantha and Ellen. And in time, they'll drop the puck. Johansson goes back to center ice. Now gives to Ridley. Ridley's pass cut off by Ellett. Now Hatcher gets in across the Jet line. Left side for Cicerelli. He couldn't get it. And here comes McElwain with a hit of steam into the Capital zone. Cutting at the net. And it's cut off there by Beaupre. Ridley straight up the middle. Cut off. Here's Ellett. Shot. They score!
Give up the puck in their own end zone. A bad giveaway as well. Mike Ridley right up the middle. Davey Ellett gets the shot off, but McElwain deflects that puck, puts it right between Beaupre's legs. The shot by Ellett, the deflection by McElwain. Hard work finally paid off for McElwain because he's had some good opportunities tonight, created through his hard efforts. And finally, one pays off for him.
Well, that's Dave McElwain's 5th shorthanded goal of the season, tops in the National Hockey League. Craig McTavish has 4. Here's Curt now. Dropped it off now to Johansson at center to Hatcher. Dumped it into the Jets on Mantha. Dumped it away. And for the Jets overall, that is shorthanded goal number 9. 5 of them by McElwain. 4-0 the Jets lead. 1:15 left in the second period. Hatcher dumped it over center and Ashton dumped it back in. Now Johansson gives to Tucker. Right side, Courtnall, stopped by Ellett. Essens behind the goal, leaves it there for Ellett. He just dumps it the distance. There's still 45 seconds left in Cronin's penalty. And coming up with it now is Rouse. Gets to center ice, dumped it into the Jets on. Back goes Carlisle. Blasts it off the boards. It goes loose. Here's Hunter working it on goal. Hunter, they score! Courtnall on the power play.
They were going to get a goal. Dale Hunter looks as though he was going to go behind the net, and that might have fooled Essenza a little bit. Instead of going behind the net, Hunter decides to throw it out in front. Jeff Courtnall is there. No one is on top of him. Courtnall gets that pass right on the blade of his stick, and no sooner did he get it than he tapped it past Bob Essenza.
That goal at 19:26 of the second period, so it's 4-1. The Jets lead the Capitals. It's dumped into the Jets on. Olesen behind the net. Into the corner. Miller goes after him, cuts him off. Here's Bobonka. Checked by Kozlowski. And starting away is Howardchuk, trying to work by Holder, who holds him up. Now Miller. He's stopped by Kozlowski. Dumped it ahead. Here's Howardchuk. He lets it go. A rising shot blocked by Beaupre. Now Kozlowski knocked it from Holder to Howardchuk. And he put it out of play. I think he was racing with a clock as much as anything on that shot.
Well, great opportunity by Howardchuk, and he knew the time was ticking away. But you know, back in the Jets end zone, even though you've got a 4-1 lead, you got to pay the price. Freddie Olesen threw snow badly in the corner when he went for the puck. He just held right up. You've got to pay the price to protect those leads when you've got a 4-1 lead.
So that's it for period number 2. The period, Gary, that, well, both goaltenders, as you say, had to come up with a couple of saves.
They stole the show in the second period.
The Winnipeg Jets goals for Kingston.
And so the score after 2 periods, the Winnipeg Jets 4 and the Washington Capitals 1.
Smiles all around tonight in the Winnipeg Arena. The Jets leading the Capitals 4-1 after 2 periods. He was an assistant under Badger Bob Johnson in Calgary before becoming a head coach in Chicago. Now he is finding a home sweet home in Winnipeg. Tonight, we get up close and personal with Bob Murdoch.
I'm from Kirkland Lake, Ontario. It's a small gold mining community. People either stay there or they leave. My ticket to leave, I like Kirkland, my family still lives there, but my ticket to leave was teaching. I went to university with the intention of becoming a teacher, and when I was at University of Waterloo, I realized that I was going to be a hockey coach. I loved the game, and I thought that I could become a good coach. I didn't realize at that point that I'd become a head coach in the National Hockey League, but I knew I'd be coaching hockey eventually somewhere.
This defenseman step up, defenseman come in behind, pass. By this time, the timing's there, 1-on-0, all the way down to shoot, all right?
After going through the experience I had in Chicago, I felt the next job that I took in hockey, I was going to be a little more careful in my selection of the teams. And when I talked with Mike Smith and Dennis McDonald and Barry Shankro, I realized that this was a team that had a goal, that had a vision, that were on the move, and that they're ready to make the commitment to make that move. And I wanted to be a part of it. So I was pretty excited about it, to tell you the truth. I enjoy 4 seasons. Now, I don't enjoy 40 below, but I like Winnipeg because of the size of it. I like Winnipeg because of the people, and I like it. It reminds
the Campbell Conference champions.
You know, I was a he was a true student of the game. He loved the game, you know, and I learned a lot from him. I know when I first took the job as assistant coach, I was fresh out of the playing ranks, and I thought I knew everything about the game, and I started to learn. And I was very fortunate to have someone like him.
A candy cane.
You want a candy cane, one?
We came out to Winnipeg, we bought a home, we arranged to have our furniture delivered. It arrived on June 26th. July 1st, about 1 o'clock in the morning, my wife informed me that she was in labor. She woke me up, and so we rushed around a little bit. We didn't know anybody. We had to leave our daughter with a neighbor who we had only met once. We rushed down to the hospital. Our daughter was born 2.5 months premature. She was only 3 pounds. But fortunately, the facilities here in Winnipeg were great. The nurses were great. My daughter was in intensive care for a couple months. But right now, she's a 5-month, 11-pound, very happy, very healthy baby. So everything has worked out well.
All right, go back to 1. Go back to 1, pass opposite guy, D to D.
I keep telling the players they're very fortunate. Here they are playing a kid's game. They're being paid all kinds of money. We bring in nutritionists, we bring in psychologists, we bring in physiotherapists, we bring in trainers, we supply the equipment, we pay for the ice, and they still get paid for it. So it's a great life. Really, I've fulfilled my dream. I'm a teacher, I'm a coach, I'm in the National Hockey League. I absolutely love it.
His wife, Beverly, daughters Caitlin and Jody, the Murdoch family, and Bob Murdoch, a gentleman, coach, scholar, and, well, they're calling him a miracle worker in Winnipeg. His team leads the Washington Capitals 4-1. Up next is our Reimer Express NHL scoreboard. 4 games in the NHL today, and we will bring you up to date after these words.
2 goals in the second period. They both happened while a penalty was being served by Dave Ellett. It was Dave McElwain scoring his 12th of the season, his 5th shorthanded, tops in the NHL, and that's also a team record for the Winnipeg Jets. Brian Mullen and Doug Smale each had the record at 4. And then on that power play, Jeff Courtnall scored his 13th of the season, the assist to Hunter and Rouse. By the way, on the McElwain goal, there was an assist to Dave Ellett. The next telecast on CKY TV.